Hey, book review fans! It's time for another book. This week's or time's book is the Seven Realms series by Cinda Chima, and the first book in the series is The Demon King. This is a pretty fantastic series. Cinda Chima, does quite a few teen fantasy books, and so they're a little predictable in that sense. But still a really, really fantastic series. The content advisory for these books is pretty easy. I mean, they're teen books, so there's not really anything super graphic in them. People do die, but again, it's not super graphic or descriptive. I think one of the worst parts is when somebody has a knife thrown at them and it ends up in their throat, and that's kind of the end of the description there. When it comes to sexual content, there's references to people being together in bed, but again, there's no detail. It's very open to interpretation. Most people, if they aren't interested in that sort of thing, will probably just interpret it as their boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever. So it's not super graphic. It's a teen book, and so it's pretty clean in that respect. The storyline of this book is pretty fun. It's magic. It's medieval. But it's also got a mix of sort of a Native American feel to it. It centers around two main characters, Hanson Alistair, known as Cuffs Alistair in the beginning, and Raisa Anna Mariana, who is the princess. Now, these two come from totally opposite worlds. Han is a slum dweller. He lives in a place called Rag Market. He, at one point, is the head of a street gang, and Han has a best friend named Fire Dancer, Hayden Fire Dancer, and this is where the Native American part comes in. They're basically split up into three races. You've got wizards, normal humans, and the clan or Native Americans, who can also use magic, but it's an earth magic. More spiritual, less offensive sort of things, more defensive. And Fire Dancer is Han's best friend. Hanson spends every summer with him in the clans up in the mountains, and they hang out and get together, and they follow each other through the whole series of the book. Raisa doesn't necessarily have a partner in that sense, but the antagonist of the series, Micah Bayar, who is a wizard, is kind of her mini character, I guess you could say. But the main focus is on Raisa and on Han in this book series. The queens are not allowed to marry wizards because of something that happened a long time ago. There's some history between them that gets explained in the book, and this young man Micah wants to marry Raisa and ends up trying to force her. And the whole book series is about how she runs away from him, her struggle with overcoming that. She ends up falling in love with Han, and their forbidden marriage, and there's some fun plot twists. There's some really cool magic scenes, some really fun creation scenes. That's probably my favorite thing in fantasy books, is when there's some sort of creation, working with material, and that's mostly Hayden Fire Dancer. This is a fantastic book series. She has another series that I may do a review on. It's also pretty good. But she's a fantastic author. Please go check her out. Go to Amazon, go to Barnes and Noble. Please buy her books. Don't illegally download the e-reader version or whatever. If you're going to read a book, pay the money for the book. These people work really hard to provide a new world for us to sort of live in, and so please support her. Check out my Patreon page as well. I don't necessarily ask for money, but tip jars are really good. Patreon is an online tip jar system. Go check it out. At least watch the video there that explains what Patreon is. If you want to help me do more book reviews, make this more possible, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much. for listening and looking at these books. I'll always be having more coming on. I try and do them about every 2 weeks. I am a student, and so things get a little busy. But please subscribe if you want to. That would be great, and you'll be able to see the past books and all the new books. And I look forward to working more with you guys.